Hello, and welcome to Interfaith Connections. I am your host, Jackie Fuller. Today, we have here in our studios the members from the organization 9/11 Unity Walk. And sitting here with me today is Mr. Poole, who is the founder of the Unity Walk, as well as the board member. Thank you for coming on today.
Oh, thank you, Jackie.
First question.
Sure.
Can you tell us who are you and what inspired you to start the Unity Walk?
Well, who am I? I'm just a average citizen in a way. I'm a Presbyterian from North Carolina that had an idea for the Unity Walk and presented that actually on Martin Luther King Day, and it was taken up by the Points of Light Foundation, and we created the walk, and so that's the who I am. But the second part of your question, go ahead, what was it again?
What inspired you to
What
start
inspired me?
being the founder?
Well, certainly 9/11 had a lot to do with it. From the standpoint of after 9/11, there was people wanted to learn more about different faiths, and I actually live on Embassy Row where the walk is, and it is a thought that people might be interested in visiting and learning about the other. It was a great thirst for knowledge about people of other religions. So had this idea and again presented an idea where all houses of worship open their doors to each other, and I guess symbolically the world. And so we created that, and it was a hit from day one.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. And can you share with our viewers who are not familiar with the walk, what happens when someone comes to your event? Can you just describe the whole process of a person for the first time coming to the walk that wants to participate?
Well, finishing up on what is the walk, it's been described as a cross between a church open house and a Gandhi-style walk. So it operates on many different levels. And indeed, every house of worship on Embassy Row opens their doors to each other, every worship house. And then so people can come for a number of reasons. They come to see the inside of a worship house they have never visited before. They come to meet their neighbors. And even some say, oh, well, the thought of coming to a Unity Walk is a statement to the world. So it really operates on a lot of different levels, but in its simplicity, it's a method or a opportunity for people to come together, put aside their differences if they have them, and then learn about the other. And of course, when you do that through food or hospitality, it becomes just a very authentic, fascinating cultural experience.
Okay. And have there been any particular places of worship that stood out with the participants when they stopped by that particular building or maybe saw an activity happening on the property? Have you received any feedback about, wow, this particular faith community does this, or I was very impressed with how this community welcomed us in? Any groups that may have stood out, or maybe feedback you've heard from volunteers or participants?
Oh, sure. We've been doing this for 7 years now, no, 8 years. And so it has been a fascinating story because we've sought to, in a sense, turn up the dials in a sense, but not really, because the people don't even think of it. For example, singing Amazing Grace at the mosque. You'd think that would never happen. Or call to prayer inside the Washington Hebrew, the largest synagogue in the city. This last year, the Vatican Embassy opened up their doors to all of the walkers, and they said that they had more people in that building doing a charitable project than they ever had in any single time since the building opened in the late 30s. Yeah. So, all sorts of firsts and things that, breaking down barriers, and nobody gives it a second thought of being, oh gosh, that's too much. We haven't had that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And who have been the key speakers or performers that have participated in the walk?
Sure. Well, for many years, Desmond Tutu's daughter was here before she moved back to South Africa. 6 years she participated, an early participant. But we've had everyone from Desmond Tutu's daughter to Arun Gandhi, who's Gandhi's grandson, to Tony Blair made a video for the walk. Desmond Tutu made a video for the walk. To church leaders from all different walks of life and from different faiths. But again, the more interesting thing would be these stretches, I guess you might say. Again, we start off in Washington Hebrew with a Muslim call to prayer, and then the second house of worship is evangelical Pentecostal Christian, where you can go and not witness, but take part in speaking in tongues and laying of hands.
Wow.
So that, that's a good one too to start.
Yeah. And what about activities before or after the walk? Do you guys have anything going on when the walk isn't taking place? How do you continue to encourage that interfaith work or the interfaith dialogue even when the walk is not taking place?
Well, great question. A sense of community has evolved, and people become friends.
Right.
That wouldn't normally become friends. And so, and many of the ways that happens or manifests is through charity. Okay. And so we've had charitable programs start just from people on the walk meeting each other and saying, oh, well, I want to form a charity with, or do charitable works, service. So maybe they meet on the walk, and people of all different faiths, again, put aside their differences and come do service projects. So we've had a number of those throughout the year.
Okay, good.
And plus planning meetings are interesting because all people of all different faiths come together at a worship house. Maybe there's a tour of that worship house. And then, so even the planning meetings are learning experiences and very authentic experiences.
Okay, good. And what have been the strengths and challenges that your organization has faced in regards to the Unity Walk itself or working with other groups? Any strengths and challenges that stand out?
Well, the strengths, I think, are all of the different houses of worship and how much they have embraced the walk and the concept of the walk. Every house of worship on Embassy Row, and it's about 11 different religions and a few extra spots, all open their doors to each other. So who would think that they would even do that?
Right.
And then the challenge is we're still sort of a grassroots organization, and the people don't know about the walk, even though it's the largest sort of interfaith or multi-faith event in the city. People don't. The general public doesn't know about it, and they hear about it and they think, oh, that's fabulous.
Right.
But that's an outreach.
Now, what about those who don't have a religious affiliation? Can they participate in the walk? Is that something that's also encouraged by your group?
Well,
people are seeking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, there's Pew's done a survey that 20 or 21% of people have no faith, or check no faith, or espouse no faith. And of course, the walk's open to people of all faiths and no faith. And I would say that mirrors the people on the walk. So again, people of very devout come to learn about other faiths, and some that have no beliefs that come too. Many, as a matter of fact.
Okay. And how can people learn more about your organization or get involved and volunteer with this year's walk?
Sure. Well, our website is www.911unitywalk.org. So that would be the porthole to come in to look at the walk. If you Google 911 Unity Walk, there are about 350 thoughts of it, and some of the videos, and definitely come one, come all, because it's truly a fascinating, very authentic experience.
Okay.
Plus, we have free Indian food.
Oh, yeah.
So when you have that, actually, that brings people out, just to have the free food. So.
Okay. And also with our guests that come on the show, can you share with us one fun fact about yourself?
Fun fact about myself?
Yes.
Okay, that's the hard question, let's hope. Fun fact. Well, I think that, I'm just a regular person. And like to say, I'm just a Presbyterian from North Carolina that had an idea. Mm-hmm. And so, literally, if I can have an idea to do something that has local and national and potentially international significance. Because if you think about here in Washington, the idea that people of all faiths put aside their differences here in Washington on Embassy Row, that's a statement.
Okay.
But yet in its simplicity, it's not.
Right. Okay. Now, is this the only 9/11 Unity Walk here in D.C., or are there other groups in different cities?
There has been a Unity Walk. There have been Unity Walks in New York City.
Okay.
And we have hopes of expanding.
Oh,
yes.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much,
thank you.
Kyle, for coming on the program. We do appreciate
Glad to be
getting
here.
helping you getting the word out about the program. And this year, what's the date for the walk? It's in September, but is it on a Monday, Sunday, Saturday?
Oh, it's always on a Sunday.
On Sunday,
And
okay.
it's always a Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And tentatively, it's scheduled for September 7th this year.
September 7th. Okay. So we just want to make sure people have that on their calendar.
Right.
For this year to come out and walk. And Embassy Row is Massachusetts Avenue, right, in D.C.?
Yes, Massachusetts Avenue.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. And thank you again for coming on. And we will
welcome.
be right back on Interfaith Connections.
Reston Interfaith has been working for over 30 years to bring hope and relief to thousands of needy families and individuals in Fairfax County. Their social service programs include the Embry Rucker Community Shelter, which gives emergency lodging, food, and support to over 600 homeless men, women, and children a year. The Food Pantry, which provides food to low-income, elderly, and disabled persons. And the Laurel Learning Center, which offers quality, affordable childcare and family services to vulnerable working, low-income families. But none of these programs is possible without invaluable volunteer and financial help from caring individuals and organizations within our community. To learn how you can help, visit Reston Interfaith on the web at restoninterfaith.org or call 571-323-9555. Through your efforts, you can help Reston Interfaith make Fairfax County a better place for all of us.
Welcome back to Interfaith Connections. I am your host, Jackie Fuller. Our next guest who is in the studio with us today is Sara Zahir, who is with Capital Area Interfaith Friends, and she serves as their youth leader. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
So can you tell us some information about yourself and how are you involved with your organization?
I'm a junior at Langley High School. I'm involved with Capital Area Interfaith Friends. It's essentially a group of students ranging from 12 to 18 years of age, and we do interfaith service together. I'm also one of the Unity Walk interns. My goal as an intern is to reach as many students and individuals and communities and schools as possible.
And what is the mission of your organization?
CAIF, our mission is to promote understanding throughout the youth, because we really believe that understanding comes from the youth. If you instill it at an early age and have as many people understand as possible, then in the long run, peace is more applicable.
Okay. And what is the age range of the members?
Anywhere from 7th to 12th grade, about 12 to 18. But we all have siblings, which we always include. Okay. So we don't really have one in specific, but trending 12 to 18.
Okay. And what faith traditions are involved?
Currently, we have the Judaic faith, the Islamic faith, the Christian faith, many different types, and we're looking at Zoroastrian and Hindu faiths.
Oh, okay.
And in our logo, The C is a moon and star to represent the Muslim faith. The I had the dot of the I is one of the Hindu symbols. The A is a Star of David from the Judaic faith, and the T is a cross.
And what activities are you involved in to promote interfaith dialogue and cooperation?
We try and focus, well, we have two themes, or themes in general, that we try to stick to or really communicate to the community. And 2 years ago it was hunger, and right now it is genocide. What we do is we participate in many events, and we host events, and we try to visit exhibits as much as possible, and really try to experience it for ourselves so we can tell other people. We even have a website called caifriends.org in which we blog about different places that we adventure in and learn about new things through speakers, through seminars, all of it. We try to come together and really educate other people so we can benefit as a whole.
And what key projects stood out for your organization that everyone had participated in that really made a difference or learned something very unique or new? Anything that stands out with you?
An event that all of our youth has participated in over the last 2 years is the Hunger Banquet, which takes place in February. And in this event, we mimic or try to understand through stories, real stories, of people around the world who have suffered through poverty and hunger. And this event, it features 3 different classes, and you really see the benefits and the not the benefits and the negatives of each class. And the most poor sit on the floor, and the most wealthy sit on tables, and they get a full 4-course meal, while the individuals on the floor get rice and beans and bread.
Now, where were you? Were you situated as part of the wealthy or in the poor with this particular event? And what did you notice, or what resonated or clicked with you participating in that, seeing it like firsthand for yourself?
I was, with the time that I participated, I was seated in the lowest class on the floor with about 25 other people. And it was interesting, and really it sent a message that there is such a difference between the different classes. And one thing that really stood out is that one of the individuals of the highest class came down and gave us cupcakes that they had received. And it had a lot of symbolism in what we can do for the less fortunate. And multiple events like this that we had participated in over the years really send a message.
Okay. And do you guys go on trips exploring different faiths, or how does the young members, I guess in other avenues, get that experience of what other faiths may have experienced, or the trials, struggles, any other opportunities or situations have that been presented to your group?
Yes, we actually recently, last summer, we had the opportunity to explore and learn about a faith that we don't have in our group, called the Baha'i faith. And we went to their temple in Leesburg, and we got to communicate with the individuals that go to the temple and really learn about the faith. And even within our own organization, we have so many faiths, and whenever a holiday that's particularly special that we haven't celebrated before comes around, we make an effort to celebrate it together. For example, during Ramadan, one of our families hosted an iftar and taught our entire group what Ramadan is and how we fast. Another was during Lent, which there's also a photo of. We got to explore a labyrinth at one of our family's churches, and we got to really explore what Lent is, and we even all tried to give something up, or attempted to, and definitely attempted, to think that what we would give up and how long we would really last. Another event that really, other than hunger, was one of our themes was genocide awareness. And last year, we really got involved with 1 Million Bones, this art advocacy event for genocide awareness, and we even hosted an event of our own. And we, in June, went to the mall to lay the bones on the ground, and the bones signified all the people that have been lost from genocide, and it had a lot of symbolic value, and the atmosphere was amazing.
Okay. Now, when the 9/11 Unity Walk comes around, how is your organization involved with that?
CAIF is actually a branch off of Unity Walk. It's the youth face, and when the Unity Walk comes around, we have individuals speak at different spots along the way, and we volunteer. We have a board. Just this past walk in 2013, we hosted a card-making event for Nelson Mandela at the time. And at the time, he was very sick in the hospital. And when he had passed, we all felt it, because he is one of the most significant people to inspire me. He has always inspired me, and it was breathtaking, the amount of people that came to the walk and really showed their support for Mandela and the entire ideal that is the Unity Walk.
And outside of what your organization does everyone still keep in touch with each other outside of the activities, or is it more social just when you're doing a particular volunteer or a cause, or just do you guys also have like friendships outside of your organization?
Yes, we were originally founded by mutual friends. Okay. Our parents are part of an organization, and their kids decided to start this, and it slowly branched out, and friends of friends of friends, and most of the kids actually go to a school pyramid in Montgomery County, and so they know each other from there, and then family, friends. We all try to keep in touch, and we always do. Social media is a wonderful thing.
Okay. And how have your peers received you and your work being involved in the interfaith movement? How do they feel about you working with different faiths? Any support or been challenges with you working with other faith traditions from your peers?
Not necessarily, but every time I tell someone about the work that we've done, they're extremely interested, because interfaith, which is also something that interests me, is something that is not typical. It's not usually easily found for students, and explaining the entire ideal was and is something very interesting, and something I always enjoy doing. And I've always received support. When we had hosted our 1 Million Bones event last year, I had more friends than I expected come. Around 15 came to support the cause and make bones with us. And that event, with their help and so much more outreach, much more than I was ever hoping for or expecting, came out, and we exceeded our goal of 200 bones and made 367. So it was amazing.
Okay. And any strengths and challenges overall with your organization? Anything you would like to see improved, or any key things that stood out where you really felt proud to be a part of your team?
Being a part of the organization is more than just being peers or colleagues in an organization. It's like we're a family. And I always look out for them, and they always look out for us. And being a part of something like that, and we do such good work, and what may come, and things that we are blessed for, that is definitely one of them. And I'm proud every day to be a part of them, and have that experience of faith and understanding, and it's something that I always hope to have, faith and understanding.
And how does your spirituality or your faith inspire you to be involved in the interfaith movement personally?
My faith, I am Muslim, but I believe that my faith and my imam is reflected in everything I do. I firmly believe that it carves a path out for me, and that I am who I am because of it. So I can't be more thankful for that. And through experience, I reflect it in all my experiences, my faith, and things like integrity, honor, charity, prayer, all of it is in my daily life, and it makes me happy and proud to say that.
Okay. Awesome. And for more information, or if more young people want to get involved and connect with a group like yours, this would be the perfect avenue for them. How can they get in touch with your group to volunteer or network or build friendships or just learn more about different faith traditions?
We have a website and an email. Website being caifriends.org and email being caifriends@yahoo.com. We are always open to new experiences, new faiths, new people to meet, and these are ways you can contact us. Other things that you can do to promote interfaith in your own community is create a group like ours. Really try and understand, because honestly, it is one of the keys to success and peace and unity.
Okay. And finally, a fun fact about yourself, something you can share with us, like something fun that you do outside of your volunteer and your schoolwork. One fun thing or two.
I play 3 instruments.
Oh, okay.
I play the viola. I'm part of my school's orchestra. I play the drums, and I play the piano. Another fun fact is I actually am a part of the Unity Walk other than CAIF. I'm a Unity Walk intern, and my job is through outreach, and I really am excited to get the word out to the schools around the area to try and really inspire everyone through Interfaith Month, which this month is Interfaith Month.
And you mentioned the internship. Can you describe like that opportunity if someone's maybe interested in doing that type of internship? Because this is a good area here in the DC area to do the internship as such. So can you share some perspectives on the internship experience thus far?
Yes. At this moment, I am researching schools and communities in the areas of worship that I can really get the Unity Walk's message out and try to get as many people to come to Unity Walk to experience it for themselves. And getting one like this is really prestigious, and I'm so excited to be doing it. And opportunities like this are available, and you can go to the Unity Walk website and apply and get in touch with some of the people, and I'm sure they'd love to give one to anyone who tries.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad to see that you're involved. Definitely love seeing young people involved in the interfaith movement. I think it's very key because you bring so much to the table and you provide so much insight that I think more people would get that better understanding and see how open and warm people are in the movement to get involved in this. So I do commend you for all your work. I'm very impressed.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for coming on the show, Sara.
My
I
pleasure.
really do appreciate it. And we will take a break here on Interfaith Connections.
About a year ago, Mark and I thought, air pollution, global warming, how can we make a difference? So first things first, Mark modified our car. He harnessed the wind. Then he experimented with microwave technology and some sort of homemade energy source.
The best part is the car emits only helium.
Genius.
But the EPA says the energy we use in our home can cause twice the greenhouse gases of a car. So I went to EnergyStar.gov. I got tips on lighting, heating and cooling, and to look for the Energy Star on products we buy. As for Mark, he still marches to the beat of a different drum.
I figure why not let gravity do all the work, right?
I know I'm making a difference. I just look for the Energy Star.
The Environmental Protection Agency encourages you to visit EnergyStar.gov to discover what you can do to reduce air pollution.
Welcome back to Interfaith Connections. I am your host, Jackie Fuller. Our next guest is Cassandra Lawrence, who is a member of the DC Interfaith Network and board member of the 9/11 Unity Walk. Welcome, Cassandra, for coming. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Now, can you share with our audience some background information about yourself and how did you get involved with your network?
I graduated with a degree in religious studies from the University of British Columbia and a master's in comparative ethnic conflict from Queen's University in Belfast. And how I got there was that when I was in high school, I went on a trip to Palestine, to Israel, and visited there and saw the conflict there and started questioning religion and conflict and people, and that just kind of projected me onto this path of understanding faith and conflict and how it all works together. And so after a few years of working for a church as a youth leader, I came out to DC and have been seeking a new life here and working with interfaith work here while I've been just working, doing research and being a writer.
Okay. And can you describe for us the DC Interfaith Network, or DCIN? What does that encompass?
Yeah, that's a group of young professionals, which young professionals is a broad term, so we're like 22 to 40-ish. Okay. And we get together usually lunchtime, sometimes evenings, to talk about how faith is working in our workplaces, but also many of us are professionals in the faith-based fields, so either in conflict mitigation fields or aid organizations or nonprofit organizations that either work directly with faith leaders as a part of their mission or as kind of a mode to engage in their field. And
what are the key goals that your organization wants to accomplish?
A lot of the goals are really just to connect with each other as people of faith and different faiths, and also to learn more about the work that's being done in the city. There's some really amazing projects going on and really amazing creative work that's being done, and some of it is often done through partnerships. So I might be working with USAID and someone else might be working with a nonprofit, but we have a good connection through DCN, and we think of a good project and get something going.
Okay. And what volunteer opportunities can people get involved in with your organization?
Most of it is just gathering to learn. So this month we're having a gathering to learn about Islamic financing and how you can invest for your retirement in both with Islamic financing in mind, as well as being socially responsible, which many of our members have found is a difficult thing to do. And so we're having an information session to learn more about what it means to do both. So things like that, so we just get together and learn about.
And how do they keep in communication with each other outside of these events? Are they on Facebook? Do they have their own, like, maybe email groups? How do they connect outside of the events?
Yeah, we have a Google group, a DCN Google group, and we also just end up having each other's emails and phone numbers, so we talk to each other that way as well.
Okay. And what have been the strengths and challenges of your network? Anything that stands out, successes or any challenges?
I think the challenge is always getting busy professionals to come together on any regular basis. So trying to find a good time. So we've played around with having lunch times and evening meetings, and we like doing both. So we like to have a mix of both that way, because some people can come for an hour lunch and some people can't. And our strengths would definitely be that we're a diverse group and we're all really engaged in wanting to be and learn about each other's work and what's going on in the city. So we will all reach out and organize projects. So we have the Islamic Financing Project. Next month we're going to learn more about the new African American museum that's being built. And so we just like learning about what's going on in the city together, which I think is a really good strength to have, a learning community.
Now, are the events, do they just take place during the workday as maybe they come like a brown bag lunch type event, or do you have events that also take place on weekends?
We have both. Okay. And so, like, if it can be done in an hour, we'll do it at lunchtime at somebody's conference room usually, or sometimes at a lunch cafeteria area. But also we'll meet in the evenings or afternoons if we want to discuss things longer. So we did a USIP course, and so we met for an afternoon and evening meal so that we could have a long time to discuss what the course meant to us in different learning moments.
And when the Unity Walk takes place, what role does DCIN play in that?
Well, several of our members are volunteers with the Unity Walk, so that's how I got engaged with the Unity Walk, is through DCN. And so then I became a volunteer in helping do the graphic arts and doing the media outreach with them. And so we also had a information table and volunteer just at different places as where they need us for our skills.
Now, is there also an internship component with your network?
There is not currently an internship network, just because we're all just different professionals working. So.
Okay. And how does your faith or your spiritual practice play a role in participating or developing the network to make it reach its full potential to connect with professionals who have interest in interfaith work?
Yeah, for me, it's really learning more about how God calls me into the world helps me learn more about how God calls me into God. So by becoming and knowing more about God, I've learned more that I'm meant to go out into the world and to do and to be active and to help bring about more just society. And so my faith really helps me bring hope in that we have a long journey both ahead of us and behind us, and so that just bringing together people in that way. And my faith really helps me understand that we're all breathed by the same Spirit. We all have the same Spirit within us, whether we call it by any number of things.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a vision or a goal or a plan for the organization, maybe within the next 2 to 5 years? Where would you like to see DCIN, or in regards to reaching out to other more young professionals, or maybe taking a larger role in the interfaith movement? Do you see a vision for that?
I do. I see more, getting more engaged with projects that are happening, but also just encouraging cross-collaboration between different agencies through the different people that we become connected with in the organization. So I definitely see us learning more about what's going on in the city, and then fostering a community that allows that creation to happen for interesting things. And it's interesting because we had a lunchtime meeting where we were talking about how much interfaith engagement there has been through the government agencies, and whether it's reached a threshold, and whether it's actually, but it still has so far to go. So being able to support each other and figure out how we can push through that threshold to keep reaching deeper and more meaningfully with faith leaders through government agencies, because there's a lot of work towards engaging faith leaders in positive ways.
And another thing that just came to me recently, just thinking about it from articles I've been reading, more young people are identifying themselves as spiritual but not religious,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe some instances those individuals would like to get involved with a group like yours, or maybe even those who may not have any affiliation at all. How can they connect, or maybe from what you observe, maybe through your interfaith work, how can groups like that connect and learn and participate in something that your organization is doing?
I think it would be both of us reaching out to each other to make that connection, because I know there's a lot of judgment and hurt on both sides, on that particular divide, especially between people of faith and people who are agnostic or atheist. And so I definitely see a big goal of ours is trying to reach and bridge that divide, so learning more about each other, and then learning how to work together, because it's not just working through faith leaders, it's just working through community leaders, whether they have a religious community that they're connected with or not. And so trying to bridge that divide, I'm not sure about yet, but we're in conversation about how to do that better. Because it's definitely, there have been lots of articles talking about that it's the missing component of interfaith work is the people that aren't connected to a community of faith.
And do you see opportunities for mentorship as something maybe what DCIN can do? Maybe people who may want to learn about another person's faith, maybe like partnering up, or any of those kind of things that have come to mind. I don't know if you want to call it mentorship or partnership.
I definitely see it, because When I said like the young professionals between like 22 and 40-ish, we also have people that are retired that come every once in a while, and we'll listen to folks and we'll learn about people like Hal Saunders, who started the Sustained Community Dialogue Project. And he is a man that, I'm not sure how old he is, but he is definitely not in the young professional category, but we have a lot to learn from him, as well as, you know, just being in partnership with him so that we can bring new energy and more, and like feet on the ground to his work as well. And so I definitely see a growing connection between the generations as well.
Okay, good. And this time I will ask a couple of fun facts outside of the serious work. So what do you do for fun?
I love collecting recipes and trying them out. So my Pinterest board has all kinds of delicious food to try, both baked goods and healthier food.
And your favorite recipes?
My favorite recipe, especially because it's winter right now, is a Greek red lentil soup, which is essentially carrots, red lentils, and rosemary. And then making a nice fresh homemade bread really hits the spot at this time of year.
Awesome. Now, if young adults or anyone who's watching the broadcast wants to find out more information about DCIN, what's the best way to do it?
There's a Google group, a DCN Google group, and also through the DC Interfaith group. I can't remember their website, but I think the Google group is probably the best one. If you just put DCN or DC Interfaith Professionals group on the Google groups, you can find it.
Okay. I'm trying to think anything else. I think we're pretty good, but anything else you want to share? Anything with the interfaith movement, with your work, feel free.
We're just starting organizing for a workshop that's going to happen in May that is bringing together, it was inspired by the South African ambassador's comments at the Unity Walk about the triangle of nonviolence between Mandela, Martin Luther King, and Gandhi. And so having a workshop that we're going to gear towards young professionals to both discover your own conflict style, because we cannot work out conflicts for other people if we don't even know what our own conflict style is. So discovering that, as well as learning about how faith and the role of their communities worked for all of these three amazing individuals. So we're organizing that for May.
Okay. Great, it sounds exciting.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing your information, because this gives a lot of people a good avenue to connect with people here in the DC area and even beyond, since now we have the internet. So this is, I think, a very core piece to get more young adults involved in our interfaith movement. So thank you so much for your work and all that you do.
Thank you.
Oh, sure, you're welcome. And we will be right back on Interfaith Connections.
At Volunteers of America, we don't just give kids a way to stay off the streets. We give them the tools they need to reach their full potential. We don't just help the elderly receive needed care. We help them live life to the fullest. We don't just provide food for homeless individuals and families. We provide job training and placement so they can buy groceries. Volunteers of America is a national organization that for over 100 years has provided programs and services that allow people to overcome their challenges to become vital members of their community. At Volunteers of America, we don't just help people, we help people help themselves. Find out how you can support the programs that are working in your community. Contact Volunteers of America today. Call 1-800-899-0089.
Welcome back to Interfaith Connections. I am your host, Jackie Fuller, and we have again everyone representing various avenues within the 9/11 Unity Walk. And one opportunity I would like to be able to feature to everyone here is to really understand the importance of being involved in this walk and how the opportunity can really make a difference in our community. So one key thing I want to just give everyone here the opportunity to do is how can people sponsor or partner with what you're doing?
Sure. Well, certainly all of the different houses of worship on Embassy Row are all participate, but we're looking for and actively seek houses of worship outside of or off the walk, and that doesn't even have to be in the district. It can be in Maryland or here in Virginia. And we would very much welcome for houses of worship or organizations that nonprofits to be involved with the walk, because what we have is not only a dramatic display of coming together of all different faiths, but a true multicultural event as well. So yes, we'd very much like to have people of all different faiths come together.
Okay. As well?
Of course. Diversity is a big part of the walk, and some, specifically the Sakai the Memorial and the Gandhi Memorial, they bring a lot of diversity. We have samosas. We really celebrate the culture of each faith along with the cultures of the walkers.
Yeah, we would love to have more diverse professionals coming to join us. That way we can learn more about the activities that are going on in the city and what interesting projects are happening. And it helps us learn better how to engage each community if we have a diverse group of professionals together.
And the next thing that stands out is the different generations here. Can you explain how the relationship within the different generations and this event also being intergenerational, what have you learned from each other?
Well, sure. When the walk comes together, again, it's people of all different faiths, but also all different ages, and you can see that two here are born out of the walk and of different ages. But and when people come onto the walk, the next organization that could be formed could be seniors to help bring people of all different faiths together. So yes, it has been a complete multi-generational, from people bringing their children to learn about other faiths, and I'm talking about very young, to enjoy the fun and ambiance of the walk, to high school, to college, to professionals or non-professionals, and to seniors. Yes, so everyone's welcome, and that's one of the great things about the walk, is the sense of community.
Of course, the age differences, they create an even more sense of the symbolism of the unity, understanding through all different ages. And even the opening ceremonies, every year I think there are so many different types of people, ages, the different diverse cultures. It really sends another message that you can be and you can understand through all types and all races.
I think having people from different age and generations helps us get a better balance of energy for the event. I know that it's great because in DC I feel like we get so segregated into our age groups. 20-somethings hang out, and sometimes 30 to 40-somethings hang out, and then you have like the older retired generation. But if you have, then you have high schoolers hanging out with each other. But to be able to work all together, you remember the depth of the journey, of the human journey, of working with someone who's in their 80s and working with someone who's in their teens, and remembering the different energy levels and the different knowledge levels and what each brings is really important.
Okay. And the spirit of volunteering, can you emphasize or share really how important that is in regards to doing interfaith work, as well as community building, peace building as well?
Sure. Volunteering or service is integral to the walk, because people come together. It's a mechanism for people to come together that wouldn't normally come together. So they might not share the same beliefs, certainly, or the same cultures at all. But they can come together and offer back. So through that mechanism of service, it's a great uniting manner for interaction, and that's what the walk is all about. It's an experiential event, and service is one of the most experiential ways to accomplish that.
Yes, CAIF is based off of service and faith, and being a part of the Unity Walk, we volunteer together, and volunteership and within the walk and otherwise is something that creates bonds that are unbreakable.
And I know for me personally, being engaged in service when I was in high school meant that for me as a career, there was no other choice. Not that there weren't any choices, but that I had to be of service because that was my life, and that's what I knew was important to the world and to me.
Okay. And then also we have additional photos that we want to share with the audience, and I have some here. There's one in particular with your organization with the young people at a display booth. Can you explain that one?
Yes, I believe this was at the 2012 CAIF represented at the 2012 Unity Walk, and we were there spreading the message of CAIF to really try to inspire other kids throughout the DC metropolitan area to establish groups like CAIF, youth interfaith groups, because we sometimes deny it, but we are the root of the future. And in order to, try and promote as much peace and unity as possible, for the long run, it is important to, incorporate the youth, and that's what we were trying to do then, along with just representing ourselves.
Okay. And then we also have some candid shots of participants at the walk. We have a couple here that just people walking down Massachusetts Avenue, and then we also have a shot here with the shoes. Was that part of a donation campaign?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, service is so integral to the walk, and as I mentioned earlier to you, that last year the Vatican Embassy, instead of just letting us peek in, they let 1,000 people into their building, which is the most people that had ever been into the building. And so what did we do? And we didn't just go visit, but actually put together trail mix for the homeless. So it's a real homage to the new Pope, I guess, but also a chance to visit a building that heretofore really sort of, been secluded.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also a picture when my first time volunteering with the Unity Walk with Reverend Tutu. And now we have the opportunity to hear Desmond Tutu speak about the 9/11 Unity Walk.
We invite people of all faiths, join together, meet someone of a different faith, and you will discover, as they say, under the skin, we are sisters and brothers. And you will get to know about the things that are dear to people of another faith. And you will walk, and the walls of hostility, of suspicion, of stereotyping will fall as surely as the Berlin Wall fell and the wall of apartheid fell.
And welcome back to Interfaith Connections. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming on the show today. We've learned a lot, and we really do encourage your work, and we support you in any way we can. And we will also help get the word out about making sure that Unity Walk is the best that it can be regarding getting people involved in the interfaith movement. And it's definitely a good way to learn and experience different cultures and faiths. So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. And to learn more about Interfaith Connections and check out what we're doing, visit our website at www.interfaithconnections.squarespace.com. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.